Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Yanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganashadasham Tattvamasya Rilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tum Namami. Nithyanandam. Hi, this is Ma Nithya Ovyananda. And thank you for joining me again today for a third session, speaking about the Living Enlightenment Book. The book that has been revealed, all of the secrets of the cosmos, by Swamiji. 2008 was the release date of this book. And already I've discussed with you the introduction. Now today we're going to move along to the first chapter of the book, and many people's favorite topic in the world, love. This chapter is all about love. Here we get the enlightened, superconscious aspects, insight into what is love. What is love? Swamiji addresses so many ranges of topics here, telling us from love can't be created, what are the 5 types of healing that love does. Love is the foundation of religion, how love brings great courage, and finally going all the way through various different aspects of love too, connecting to love through meditation. So it's a very profound chapter, because a lot of times we have our own ideas about what love is. You know, growing up in the U.S., we think about love in terms of, many people think of love, in terms of how to express love through gifts or through material objects. We see a lot of commercials and a lot of the media, TV shows, movies, a lot of love and showing love revolves around giving gifts to people. Valentine's Day, giving chocolates and jewelry and all different types of gifts to people. I guess I've been away from US for a few years, so now has it changed that? I don't know. I didn't follow Valentine's Day so much after some time. But I know that even in my own, family and people I knew, they expected something like the show of love through a gift. So, but what really is love? How can we express it to people? How can we get to a deeper level of love? So here through this chapter, we'll see what Swamiji says about it and the amazing insights that he gives. See, usually when we look at something, the first thing we do is calculate what we can get from it. So whether it's a person or an object, oftentimes it doesn't matter. But we wonder what is in it for us, Our attention is centered on that object or person. And our thoughts start functioning either through fear or greed to calculate what there is in a situation. Because today, mostly in society, we run off fear or greed. What can we get from it? What can we gain? Or is something about it, fearful to us? Like, for example, insurance. There's a scare. If you don't get insurance and you get sick, then what are you going to do? You won't be able to pay for the hospital bills. You won't be able to pay for the doctor. So then you have to have a job with insurance, and you have to put that money each month into it. Whether or not you use any of that insurance for 10 years, you're still putting your money into that system. So that's kind of a fear-based system in some ways. Maybe you think it's practical, but actually it's not. Because through the Vedic tradition, we learn how we can be healthy and prevent things by having an understanding of ourself and of life, and also having completion with life and things around us. So in this book, we'll address all of these things also. Swamiji has given amazing insights to everything. So back to what is love. So basically, centering our attention on an object or a person. But is it possible to turn our attention inwards and ask what I can contribute? What can I add? How can I enrich others? See, instead of, saying, what is the process out of it? What can I get out of it? Typically then is driven out of lust. And then we're wanting to, possess something. Because what can I get out of it? We want to possess something about it. See, love is actually a power. It's an energy. So if we think, how instead can you enrich something or somebody? How can you help them or enrich them or contribute to their life? That is love. And actually, Swamiji gave us a practice some years back. No matter who we meet throughout our day, let's just consciously decide and give them something, whether it's a smile or some advice or something that we've learned, or we can teach them something that we know, or help them with something they're stuck with, or even just get them a cup of coffee. How can we enrich or contribute to each person's life throughout the day that we meet? If we do this for just a few weeks, maybe 21 days, you can really see such an amazing difference in how your heart chakra, your heart opens up. And you start to actually feel something in there, something moving, which is not based out of wanting or possessing or needing something, but just purely out of opening up and centering on that other being or that other person and giving to them. So it's really an amazing process. So to define love itself, here, Swamiji, he's saying how, in a few words, he's trying to describe love, but it's very difficult. What he says is that how love is an intense experience in one's inner space. So many people, we think that love is a choice. We think experience and expression of love, that's a choice. We think we can handle love, otherwise we can let it go. But it's not a choice as we think. It's actually a basic necessity of life. And it's not just breathing and staying alive that it's a necessity, but being alive at the innermost being level as a live consciousness. If we can express love, if you can experience love, then it is only a way of being alive as a consciousness. See, your consciousness doesn't want really anything from anybody, and it doesn't have fear or greed. But that expression of consciousness, by when we reach out and enrich somebody else's life, that is acting out of the conscious level. See, if you don't experience and express love, you may inhale and exhale, but you can't say you're a live being. Unless we look inwards and act from that space, from our inner space, then we can say we're an alive being. See, there's many animals and plants and other things that breathe day in and day out. And we'll continue to exist like them if all we're doing is calculating and trying to possess something. Then we're not living from that conscious space and actually being alive. So Swamiji gives a really funny, not funny, but a really good example. He likes to give a small story. He loves to tell this. So I'm going to read it out because it'll help illustrate what we're talking about here. And it's always nice to hear such a variety of good stories. So the story goes, a disciple asks a Zen master, does an enlightened master speak? The master said, no, an enlightened person never speaks. Only a person who doesn't know enlightenment speaks. Then the disciple asks, so does a master keep quiet? The master said, no, an enlightened master never keeps quiet. If he keeps quiet, then he's not enlightened. The disciple is puzzled, obviously. He asks, you say he neither speaks nor keeps quiet. What does he do? The master replies, he sings. His being sings. He neither speaks nor keeps quiet. His very being sings. So he's saying how love is the ultimate experience of a human being. When the experience happens, we will not be able to possess that experience. Only that experience will overcome and possess us. That is what the master is meaning there. When the experience possesses us, whatever we would do, it'll be like a beautiful song. So any word that comes out of us will be like poetry, and our being will be light. We will simply float, and when we walk, we'll be dancing. So our body language will radiate that grace, and all of the expressions that we have will be of service to humanity. And I can say for sure that when Swamiji himself walks, it is actually one of my favorite things to see. You might think, what is the big deal seeing somebody walk? But when you see Swamiji walk, it is just like a complete, such a grace and a balance and a possession, and not a possession is the wrong word, but a command and powerful, the way he walks with such a grace and a sureness and a completion and an openness. His chest is completely open and his body is completely balanced. And he's so, like, his presence and his energy that he radiates can seem very heavy, but yet his steps and his walking is so light. And I've never seen anything like it, like I can sit and watch him walk, and it's kind of like, even I don't need to hear him speak. If I can just see him walking, sometimes just see him walk in, like if he comes into the temple, and he'll have namaskar, and speak to the deities and whatever process he's doing, and just walking around the campus and the way he's, his commanding surety and his love for the devotees as he speaks and gives out the instructions for things. And it's really amazing to see him walk. You've never seen anything like it. Even a dancer can't walk like that, or it's really hard to express. But when you do come and meet Swamiji at a program, you'll see him walk, and it's amazing. It's like his presence just moves and fills that area. So to me, it is a service. It's a service to me and anyone who can see him. So just a little side note. See, like all human beings, we're born as loving beings. A newborn baby, do they know anyone around them really at their birth? No, they have that energy, that sweetness, that causeless love. They don't really, have any vested interests in anything. They're just there. This being is there. But then, unfortunately, as we grow, that society instills fear and greed in us, and we orient ourselves based on that greed or fear. Then it becomes no longer that causeless love that we had as a baby. It becomes love with a reason. And it becomes suffocating. We start feeling other emotions, like jealousy and fear and anger. We experience love only with a cause, with a reason. With little awareness, a little awakening. We don't possess those things anymore, that awareness and awakening. And that causeless love, that feeling, is no longer there. But if we bring that awareness and we go inside, we can have that awareness of our inner space and reclaim that original love. And as I said, one practice we can start to do today, just anybody you meet, even if you just pick a few people throughout the day, just give them something, enrich them with something. Maybe somebody will look at you and say, wow, that's a beautiful necklace you're wearing. It's amazing. Maybe you'll even consider to take it off and give it to them. Why not? Imagine how happy they would be. Or just giving a smile to somebody, especially even if it's somebody that maybe you've not gotten along with or spoken to for some time. Maybe it's somebody in your office who you've had a fight with. Why not just see what happens and smile at them and say hello? Or if somebody on the street is lost or asking for directions, instead of running by on your lunch hour trying to get back to the office, maybe ask them if you can help them and give them some direction. So little things like this we can do throughout the day, and just try it out for a few weeks and see how it goes. See how that feeling opens up in your heart and you start to connect with your being. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. What is love? So we'll continue tomorrow further into the chapter of love in the Living Enlightenment Book by His Divine Holiness Paramahamsa Nithyananda. Thanks for joining today, Nithyananda.